know that you think you're the coolest one in town, but to me you'll be much cooler when you're 6 feet underground. Some of us are crazy, some are smart and brave. Well, it doesn't really matter, we all end up in the grave. All my favorite people are dead. All my favorite people are dead. I said all my favorite people are dead. All my favorite people are dead. All my favorite people are dead. All my favorite people are dead.
Well, hello, breathers.
Good morning. Good afternoon.
It is morning. I need more coffee.
Good evening. I don't know where I am. Welcome to yet another
Fabulous
episode of All My Favorite People Are Dead.
Oh, what was
That was a new one.
That was
Do you like that? That was a Harry Carey.
Harry
That was a samurai in the gut. Yeah, that was a new one. Scary, yeah.
Well, yeah, I didn't even know what to do because I'm watching you and I'm like, what?
Oh yeah, what the hell is she doing? That's one of those samurai ninja murders.
Yeah.
That's something different. Gotcha on that one.
Yeah.
Good, yeah.
I need more coffee.
Okay, drink up, sister. She's on her 15th cup. I'm on decaf.
So, my name's Shannon Butler.
Oh, and I am. Sue Teresi. I forget sometimes. I have to check my jacket.
And our special guest,
Mambo. Good boy.
He's such a cute kitty.
Good boy.
Literally taking over half of this table.
He just sits here and fluffs and
listens.
Listens. If he could speak, he'd say meow. I guess meow 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 meow. I sit on your stuff. I sit on your phone. I sit on your stuff.
Yeah. Trying to drink my coffee.
But he is our trio.
Yeah. He makes us whole.
It is Shannon, Sue, and Mambo. Mm-hmm. And that's how we roll.
Yeah, because when I originally started doing the podcast, it was my dogs, and they're too noisy.
Okay.
So it doesn't work with dogs.
Yeah. No, he's pretty chill. And
quite chill.
Good night. Yeah, he really doesn't give a rat's ass.
No, he doesn't.
He's like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
I'll just sit here while you drink your coffee, and I'll be fluff. It is. It's good to be fluff, right?
Yeah, it's good to be fluff.
Yes, he's a good boy. He needs a vacuuming, I think. He's long-haired fluff.
Yeah.
But he should be our mascot.
Yeah, absolutely.
So what's new?
What's new? What is new? Oh, so I have. I was doing a lecture.
Oh yeah, because that's what you do.
That's what I do.
Yeah.
I do lectures, and I was hanging out, and this guy was like, "I just signed up to your podcast." I was like, "Oh."
Do we know this guy?
I know him, but he didn't realize that it was actually my podcast. Like he was like. He's like, oh, a friend said, oh, you should listen to All My Favorite People Are Dead.
And he did.
And he's like, that's your podcast. I was like, yeah, here's a sticker. Keep listening.
And he's enjoying it.
Yeah.
So I had a similar experience. Okay. I went to the Odyssey Diner, which is on Route 9, and I think that's Wappingers Falls.
Yeah.
And the waitstaff, shout out to the waitstaff and the owners there. They are lovely, and they have been listening. And I walk in, and she says to me, all my favorite people are dead. I go, yeah, that's me. That's me. And she says to me, and I quote, I listen and I learn and I have fun doing it and I smile.
Oh.
And they brought me over dessert.
Oh.
And it's like some kind of like mini fame, I guess. Usually I get that with children. Like I'll get a student.
Love you.
Thank you. I get a student. I can tell they're identifying me like at the beach or at the mall. You know, Mr. Easy signed my yearbook. It's like, almost like a celebrity status. But now I'm getting, you're that podcast lady. Yes, I am.
Nice.
So this is crazy, right?
I love it.
I know. And it's kind of, there's some anonymity because on the podcast, you don't know what we look like.
Right.
We could be good looking hot women. We could be little old disgusting 3-eyed toads.
Whoa.
No one knows what we look like.
That's true.
Except for Mambo.
Yes. Well, I did post a picture of us on our Facebook.
Okay.
If you don't go on our Facebook, you won't know what pictures I'm posting.
But if you're just listening to us.
If you're just listening.
Yeah, and then you would have to hear the voice and go, I know that voice.
Yeah.
So that's kind of cool in a weird, creepy way.
I love it.
Yeah, it's something different.
And I love the Odyssey Diner. They're great.
They are excellent. They give you like so much food. It's like
so much feta on their Greek salad.
Oh my gosh, it's like a brick. It's not even
feta.
And they they feed you like family. They really do. They feed me like my grandmother used to feed me. It's a lot.
This is not a paid advertisement, by the way. We just
no, it is not. We just like going there. Yes. We like what we like. And you know what else we like? Dead people.
Jinx.
I know. You owe me a beer.
We love dead dead people.
We love dead people. Some dead people, we're glad that they're dead. You know, like when we did the murdering Lizzies. Yeah, we're kind of glad that they're... It's kind of weird. But some people were not glad. For instance, today we're going to talk about Norman Percival Rockwell.
You mean Norman fucking Rockwell?
According, what's her name? Yeah.
Lana Del Rey.
That's right.
Fabulous song.
Apparently, I'm
I
learning.
think it's actually the title of the whole album.
Yeah.
Norman fucking Rockwell.
Naturally.
Yeah.
Naturally.
But the song itself, beautiful.
It's beautiful.
Love it.
And he was, and will always be amazing. I went to, he's got the museum up in Stewbridge we'll talk about.
Absolutely love it.
He is best known for his portrayals of common people caught in ordinary situations.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it. No acting, no, none of that, what was that movie, Zoolander, Zoolander where he does the faces.
Oh, yeah.
No, none of that.
No.
None of that.
No, this is just real.
Real people.
Picture this. I mean, like, the
people you know.
Thanksgiving image.
Right.
Like, that's everybody.
That's everybody's, it's like...
except you. You have the fake turkey.
I always have a seitan roast, or we'll have a tofurkey. There will be no live birds. Pretty much, those could be my relatives.
Yeah.
It's like American Gothic, with the pitchfork. That could be everybody's aunt and uncle. Common people caught in ordinary situations. Norman was born February 3rd, 1894 in New York, died November 8, 78 in Stockbridge of emphysema. He is rightly called the quote-unquote storyteller of America. His works trace the history of the United States in the 20th century.
Yeah.
Considered a drawing genius, an avid Boy Scout, a hardworking perfectionist, he is a representative of hyperrealism. A true patriot. He participated in the war effort simply by putting his art at the service of American propaganda.
Yeah.
Which, here's something I didn't... Well, there's a lot of things I don't know, but he created one of the most famous icons of feminism. You ready?
Oh,
Rosie the Riveter, okay?
Yes.
Initially titled "We Can Do This," right? We all, the image of the woman with her fist up with the red bandana.
Absolutely.
Was a creation of his. Rosie the Riveter is an allegorical cultural icon in the U.S. who represents the women that had to work in factories and shipyards during World War II. Many of whom produced munitions and war supplies, right? Women got to go to work.
Yeah, absolutely.
They took new jobs, entirely replacing male workers who had to join the military.
Yeah.
And that really is captured when you see Rosie the Riveter. It's really... isolates that time in American history when women had to do what they had to do.
And it was really one of the first times that women are stepping up and working.
Yeah,
and it was
in male-dominated fields.
Yeah. And it was kind of hard for a lot of them to give that up when men came back.
Can you imagine? Yeah, now, wait,
I like doing this.
You were a sub, remember? No, but I like it here.
I like it. I like riveting planes together.
And doing stuff for the war effort and getting my hands dirty. Norman Rockwell supported the civil rights movement. Okay?
Yeah.
If you see, I can't remember the name of it, but the one with the little girl going to school, but then you see the tomatoes being thrown at her with the big white, gods. I mean, Rockwell.
That's a powerful image.
It's his stuff really,
it's right out of real life. Like that was happening.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true life. A picture, right, tells 1,000 words.
Yeah.
Rockwell's considered himself to be a visual storyteller. He was an extraordinary draftsman and an exceptional compositionalist, but maybe the greatest strength was his ability to enter the American psyche.
Yeah.
People responded to his art because they saw the best of themselves in it. If I had $1 every time I said the word Rockwellian, I said I moved to where I am now because the neighborhood is like Rockwellian, with the tree-lined streets, and one of the things that I gravitated to, with the leaves, and it's Americana, it's like New England, it's very Rockwellian. I say that a lot.
I do love your neighborhood. It's so pretty.
It really is. Until I moved in. Now I think they're getting a petition to get me out, but that's for another podcast. So Norman was born in a fifth-floor apartment just west of Central Park, the second son of Jarvis Waring Rockwell and Nancy Hill Rockwell. His father, whom he remembered as a dignified, handsome Victorian gentleman.
Oh, my.
Yeah, that sounds like fun. Worked his way up from office boy to office manager in the New York branch of a Philadelphia textile mill. He remembers his mom as being ill long before he was born and being ill but living until 85. One of those.
That sounds like a rough stuff. Like
Yeah, one of those.
all the time.
Well, I maybe, I have a hangnail, I have my cuticle hurts, my eyebrows, one of those.
Oh, that kind of
That's the impression I got. Yeah.
Oh, that's annoying.
Yeah, it's annoying. Yeah, I've been dying for 35 years now, There's a woman in my gym, she wears a t-shirt, and I got to get one. It says, "Everything hurts and I'm dying."
Jesus.
Yeah, it's hysterical. It's hysterical. And she wears it when she's like kickboxing. It's hysterical.
She's kickboxing.
She's doing all this stuff, and the shirt says, "Everything hurts and I'm dying."
That's dramatic.
I think Rockwell's mother, yeah, but it's funny as hell.
Yeah.
Norman inherited his love of painting from his mom's father, Howard Hill, who came to America from England after the Civil War.
Okay.
He was named Norman after his mom's distant relative and her hero, Sir Norman Percival.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm.
Very hoity-toity.
To escape the city and help his mom's health, she might faint. They spent summers in the country, eventually moving to Mamaroneck, which is in New York.
Okay.
So he was a choir boy. He sung at St. Luke's Episcopal Church as a kid. He self-describes as a skinny, pigeon-toed, narrow-shouldered kid with a big Adam's apple and glasses.
I mean, that's most of his paintings.
Yeah, and you could like see the kid with the tall skin. It's hysterical.
Exactly what it looks like, yeah.
We all know what he looks like now. He wasn't athletic, more of a loner, and in 8th grade he decided, I'm going to art class. So of course his parents didn't want him to be an artist. My mother thought I'd be a failure as an artist like my grandfather and starve to death in an attic somewhere.
He proved her.
Yeah, seriously. So he took some part-time jobs to help pay his way and attend the Chase School of Fine Art. Midway through his sophomore year in high school, Norman dropped out and enrolled at the National Academy of Design.
Oh.
So he gets a job working for Boys Life magazine originally.
Yes, I heard about that.
Yeah, Boys Life was before the other one that we'll talk about.
Right.
At 19, he becomes the art editor for Boys Life, published by the Boy Scouts of America.
And he was a Boy Scout at the
He was
time.
an avid Boy Scout. Yeah, he did a lot of work for the Boys. He loved the Boy Scouts.
Okay.
He held the job for 3 years, during which he painted several covers, beginning with his first published magazine cover, Scout at Ship's Wheel, which appeared in the Boys Life September 1913 edition.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's really nice.
Yeah.
Cool.
He submitted his first successful cover painting to the Saturday Evening Post. That's where we go.
Oh, yeah.
In 1916, and that was the beginning.
And he does that for a long time.
1916, Mother's Day, and so begins his career there.
Okay.
So this is the first one, the Mother's Day one. It shows a guy with like the baby carriage and like his kind of friends like almost like waving their baseball hat at him like, yeah, really? So that was the first one. Yeah. So in 1916, 22-year-old Norman painted the first cover we did that, considered to be, and he's considered to be the greatest show window in America. The magazine.
Saturday
Post. Right.
That makes sense, yeah.
How long did he work there? Oh, just another 47 years. 321 Rockwell covers would appear on the cover of the Post. Just a few.
Yeah.
He eventually ended his contract with the Post due to frustration with the limits the magazine placed on his expression of political themes at that point. Mm-hmm. As he gets on, he felt that they were stifling him. And he says, I want to be more, I want to say more. And he's like, I had enough of this. Yeah. Because Look magazine eventually offered him a forum for his social interests, including civil rights and racial integration.
Saturday Evening Post didn't want to touch the racial stuff.
They had a problem with the integration stuff and the racial stuff, and they felt he was going too far.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. So he moves to Stockbridge, Massachusetts in 1953, at the pinnacle of his career.
I love Stockbridge.
So it's not that far. It's like an hour and a half from upstate New York, and it's lovely, and it's turned into a museum, and you see all this stuff.
Yeah.
I suggest you go.
Oh my! Can I tell you a funny story?
Tell me a funny story, Aunt Shannon.
All right. So when I was a park ranger, I remember one day coming into the visitor center because I was about to do like the 1:00 tour. Actually, no, it was the 4:00 tour. It was the last tour of the day. And one of the ticket sellers kind of flags me over, and she's like, just so you know, you have the Wicked Witch of the West on your tour.
Margaret Hamilton was coming on your tour?
What? I was like, what are you talking about? She's like, no, she is just a real see you next Tuesday.
Oh.
Apparently this person had treated her like crap, so she's like, you have the worst world.
So she's coming on your tour now.
Yeah.
Oh, good for you. Okay.
This ticket seller was trying to point her out gently to me, like,
give you the heads up.
She is.
Okay.
Be careful, don't say anything.
Uh-oh.
You know, I was like, okay.
Oh boy.
So immediately I was just kind of like trying to be
crap.
friends.
Yeah.
No,
No, you didn't have an oh crap.
No, I didn't have an oh crap. I was like, so where are you from? Like, I was trying to, because it was a small tour, it was a small group, so I was trying to get a feel for where everybody was. And she's like, oh, we're from Stockbridge. I was like, oh my God. I was like, I love Stockbridge. And she's like, what? And then you could see the ice just melt off this woman. I was like, I go there whenever I get a chance. I just get in my car and I drive over and I check out the Norman Rockwell Museum, and then I go to the Red Lion Inn. When I get my seafood chowder from the Red Lion Inn, she's like, "Oh my God, yes!" I was like, and then I go.
You had her in the palm of your hand,
and she was like, next thing I know, by the end of the tour, she handed me her phone number and address, and she's like, "The next time you're in Stockbridge, you come over." And I was like, "Look at this! Look at that! Look!"
So you had her eating out of the palm of your hand
because that connection with Stockbridge, and I was like,
but it's a good thing you had the heads up in a way,
right?
See, I get that as a teacher. People will say to me, oh, wait till you get little Billy in your class next year. He made my year suck. And I'm like, please don't do that.
Yeah.
And then I say, well, maybe, little Billy had a rough year that year. Maybe his parents were going through a divorce. Maybe he was in a custody battle. Maybe he just didn't like you. Right. Okay? That's not going to be me. And I read little Billy's case and I say, okay, I try not to, because that gives you a prejudgment right there.
Right.
I'm like, no, don't tell me little Billy sucks my life. And then, and now I don't want to, do that. Little Billy's coming in with a blank slate. I never work with him.
Yeah.
And you get this same preconceptions when you have a really good kid.
Right.
I have a really good kid, and then I'm like, oh, thank goodness the mother has 3 more. And you expect them all to be like that first kid that was wonderful, and it doesn't work that way.
No, of course not.
Usually it trickles down. By the time you get the little one, it's like a different family.
Yeah.
But I love it when people give you their preconceived notions of their experience and expect yours to be the same way. So did you ever tell her that this woman was wonderful for you?
I did. I was actually
And she was angry.
She was like, what? No, she was just kind of confused. She was like, huh?
Really?
Like, she was fabulous. Like, it was totally fine.
Isn't that fun? See?
Yeah.
See what I mean? And if you would have gone in with that attitude that this woman is going to make your life suck, it would have been a different experience. Right. See, that's what I mean. Anyway.
Okay.
We digress. Okay, Norman moved to Stockbridge in 1953. He was at the Pinnacle Close. We did that. Okay, so it was here in Stockbridge, in his meticulously renovated 1830s Carriage Barn studio, that he did create some of his most enduring works. Yeah. From neighborly gatherings of small-town America to vivid scenes of national social change.
Yeah.
Okay, he really depicted everything. I'm telling you, a picture says 1,000 words, right?
It does.
In 1976, toward the end of his life, Norman left the studio and the contents to the Norman Rockwell Museum, which is what you see now.
Yeah.
The building was cut in two and moved to the museum's grounds in 1986, and it has long presented the studio as it was when Norman Rockwell passed away.
Yeah.
In May 15th of 1943, a fire claimed Norman Rockwell's Arlington, Vermont studio, destroying, among other things, a record of some of the history of his career, unfortunately. And in one of them, they have him, the artist, I'll put you'll see him painting while looking in a mirror.
Yes.
That one, and there's a little bucket on the floor on the side. I don't know if I have one of those. Yes, I do. That one. And there's a little bucket on the side representing the fire that happened at the studio.
Oh.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
They mentioned them. So, during World War I.
Oh, I'm just now realizing that all those figurines in there are Rockwell.
Is this your first day here?
No, I know.
Okay, we have to take a minute, breathers. Okay, Shannon, everything on the bottom. Okay, for those of you who can't see my house, which is everyone but Shannon, I have a bunch of little Norman Rockwell tchotchkes. What is English for tchotchke? Figurines. Things you dust off, tchotchkes. And they're on the bottom, and then there's plates and saucers.
It's all Rockwell.
And they're all Okay, Shannon, look at the paintings around the wall.
The paintings things I've noticed. You know,
Okay, but you never noticed all the tchotchkes?
For some reason,
That's a
I've
riot.
seen the tchotchkes, like I've seen the snow globes, but for some reason it
Yeah.
didn't dawn on me that all those figurines
All of them.
are all Rockwell.
They are all Rockwells, and a lot of them have.
Why am I just noticing this now?
Today is Shannon's first day in my house. We never let her in before.
This is
I guess because you just never noticed.
I guess I've never taken the time to really look at the detail.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay. No,
I have one shelf full of snow globes, and then I have one shelf all full of Rockwells.
Yeah.
So, but
I
that's
love
how we roll, and they're all. I really love his stuff because
Yeah.
it's just so depicted. Everybody gets it. You look at it and you immediately get it. There's no second guessing. You know what he means.
Oh, yeah.
It hits you. It really does. It's beautiful. This is my Rockwell room. Okay. So anyway,
we
okay.
digress again.
Tomorrow we'll check out the bathroom. Okay, we'll do that tomorrow.
I've been in the bathroom.
You been in the bathroom?
Nothing
No, just
Rockwellian.
no, nothing at all. Nothing at all. So during World War One, Norman tried to enlist in the U.S. Navy, but was refused entry because at 140 pounds, he was 8 pounds underweight for someone 6 feet tall.
Yeah, that's really skinny. Yeah.
So to compensate, he spent one night gorging himself on bananas, liquids, and donuts, and weighed enough to enlist the next day. I don't know how he did that without vomiting, but okay, I
had
couldn't.
lots of bananas.
So he was given the role of military artist. However, he didn't see any action during his tour of duty, which might be a good thing.
Probably.
Imagine go up and
That's
blowing your fingers off. You
better for all
can't
of us,
work.
yeah.
You're right. So he marries his first wife, Irene O'Connor, July 1st, 1916. She was his model in Mother Tucking Children into Bed, which was published on the cover of Literary Digest, January 19th of 21. They divorced January 13th of 1930, and he met and married a school teacher. You know how they are.
Yeah.
Mary Barstow on April 17th of 30.
Okay.
Right after. Like he gets divorced and then gets remarried.
Okay.
They had 3 children, Jarvis Waring, Thomas Rhodes, and Peter Barston. And in 53, the Rockwell family moved to Massachusetts. So his wife could be treated. The reason they chose that part of Massachusetts is because she needed a little bit of psychiatric care at the Austin Riggs Center, which was a psychiatric hospital at 25 Main Street. So they set up his studio there. He also received some minor psychiatric treatment there, also seeing the infamous analyst Eric Erikson, who happened to have been on staff at the time.
Okay.
Erikson later tells biographer Laura Claridge that Norman painted his happiness, but it didn't always live it.
Really? So
Now,
he suffered from depression?
Something, yeah. Erikson, I remember studying Erikson, you know, and he had all those stages and stuff and he says, his opinion is he would put it on paper, but that's not really how he lived. So you don't get the impression. Isn't it kind of crazy?
I had no idea.
No, who did, right? I mean, but he probably suffered. The impression I get is little minor depression, but doesn't everybody? You know, whatever.
Especially someone as brilliant as him is
Yeah.
going to probably.
Yeah, and maybe you also see too much. You know, when you do deal in social issues, you see a lot. I mean, I know when I was a special ed teacher originally, and these god awful names, it takes a toll on you.
Yeah.
So it really does. On August 25th, 59, Mary dies unexpectedly of a heart attack. So now Norman marries his third wife, retired Milton Academy, she's an English teacher, Mary Lee Molly Pundison, and 61. So when Norman is using a model, he uses everyday people.
Right.
Didn't call Beyonce and ask her to sit for him. None of that. He would use a neighbor. He would use a friend of one of his sons. The models would have to pose for him the whole time. Mm-hmm. So because of that, you can't ask somebody to sit for that length of time. Then he started experimenting with photographs of a real person. Because in 1921, he had a model who just couldn't hold a yawn. It was a paused yawn. How do you hold a yawn for all that time? So he took a photograph, But he would choose his favorite models based on facial characteristics or the ability to create a desired expression or the ability to retain a pose.
Yeah.
You know, based on that rather than them being exceptionally good looking or exceptionally anything.
Yeah.
And I think that's what he didn't pick people that look like models. He picked the everyday Joe.
Right.
You know?
That way everybody can see themselves in his work.
That's exactly it.
Yeah.
I think Norman's legacy is that Norman Rockwell is the emblematic figure of the golden age of the illustrated press. Mm-hmm. And despite a style described as hyper-realistic, the success of photography in the 1960s precipitated the end of his career. At that point, although the photography was good, it's just not the same as drawing it like from still life or real life, you know?
Yeah.
The ability to being able to represent the strengths and the weaknesses of the Americans and of defending the great cause. Because of all that, he was awarded the Presidential Medal of Freedom a year before his death in 1977.
Oh.
That is the highest civilian decoration of the president, who at that time was Ford, who wanted to thank him for, quote unquote, living and loving portraits of our country.
Yeah.
Ford presented that to him, which it really is.
Yeah.
He leaves behind a pictorial record of America that's covered 6 decades. Can you imagine that?
That's, almost the entire 20th century.
Yeah. And everything that changed, and he captured on canvas.
Yeah, he did, yeah.
Giving us hope that life goes on through hard times, and ordinary people suck it up and make the best of it. Mm-hmm. Although his overly empathetic treatment of subjects was criticized, and it delayed his recognition by the art world. I don't know why.
The art world.
Well, yeah, right. You get credit after it's due.
Right.
Although the Guggenheim Museum eventually organized his first retrospective in 2001.
Still, he's dead.
Still, yeah, he died in the 70s. This is 2001. You know, all right. But since then, his works have been sold for millions.
Yeah.
Millions.
Yeah.
His painting, The Problem We All Live With, was exhibited at the White House in 2011 when Barack Obama received, that's the name of it, Ruby Bridges. That's the one, The Problem We All Live With.
Okay.
The little girl.
Yeah.
And the tomato's supposed to be Ruby Bridges with the 2 big white guys taken out of school.
Yeah.
And that's the one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't think of the name of it. Today, Norman Rockwell is no longer just recognized as an illustrator by his peers and the public, but he is regarded as one of America's greatest painters.
I think so.
That's probably why he touches me.
Yeah.
In a changing America, some things don't change. A Thanksgiving dinner, a soldier returning from war, a father awaiting the birth of a child, or a boy's first haircut.
Aww.
These are just a few aspects of American life that Norman Rockwell chose to depict. And that hits us all.
It does.
His universal ideas lie in the theme, not in the character of the painting. It didn't matter if you're old or young, male or female. His viewers could all personally relate not only to the character, but to the universal theme and the feelings that his painting evokes in the situation.
Yeah.
You know, a kid can look at the painting and his grandmother, and they both get an emotion. Anybody can relate to him. I think that's it. It's universal.
Yeah.
I think you don't have to be able to read. You don't have to be able to speak English. You have to be able to look and perceive it.
You have to be able to read human expression.
Right.
And that's what he did perfectly well.
With no words.
Yeah.
You know, I can't always remember the captions of which painting is which, but I don't think I've ever looked at a Rockwell and said, gee, I don't get it.
Yeah, no,
I don't think it's possible, no matter what.
You can always understand what's going on in these images.
You really can, and that's why I put them up in my home, and I go to a yard sale, so I'm like, oh, Rockwell.
Yeah.
You know, and I just find them charming and enchanting, and stands the test of time. You could still look at something now. Could be from World War II, when you look at it, the 4 freedoms, freedom of want.
Yeah.
Yeah, freedom of when you have those, and the the family situations and the ones involving children. Mm-hmm. How do you go wrong?
No, I know. I've always liked the one where you've got this young guy in a museum studying a painting, and the painting seems to be looking down
at him. Yeah. He's looking at him.
So cute.
the ones involving kids running away, or people getting married,
yeah.
or my teacher one. I actually got that plate when I graduated, and I got my first degree in teaching. That was a gift, and
nice.
And I'm like, and I mean, and you can see it's old school, but it looks like a one-room schoolhouse, but. It conveys the message.
Oh, sure.
He was really a storyteller, like a photographer, conveying a message.
Yeah.
I can't dispute anything he's done. I don't think I've ever looked at a Rockwell and gone, I don't get it, or that sucks, or what is Norman trying to tell me?
No,
you get it.
You know.
You get it, right? The old man looking out at the ocean with the kid.
Yep.
You know, and
sailing and
right. What are they discussing? Well, grandson, when I was your age, and you could see he's a fisherman.
And that's another thing. Like when you see these paintings where there's a conversation going on, you can kind of play it out in your head.
You know what they're saying. You know what they're saying.
Yeah.
It's just, the doctor, the little girl goes to the pediatrician and he's, got his little doctor bag and he's listening to the doll's heartbeat or the one of the veterinarian, or it's, I find them very charming and very,
I love them.
Very enchanting.
Yeah. Your kitty finds them charming too.
Oh, did you? That wasn't Mambo.
That wasn't Mambo. I think it was Liza.
Somebody else is having a conversation here.
Yeah.
They talk.
They like the ones with the kitty cats.
They like the ones with the kitty cats. I like the ones with the kitty cats. I can't say enough about him. So if you're not familiar with Norman Rockwell,
must be living under a rock if you're not.
Who knows? Well, maybe there are youngins who are just being exposed, or old people who forgot, or people like me who just can't remember shit.
So go to the Norman Rockwell Museum in Stockbridge.
Yeah. Why do I keep saying Sturbridge? Stockbridge. And why do I keep saying?
There's a Sturbridge, Massachusetts.
That's what I'm thinking. Is that where they're shopping? They might be.
That's the big antique show.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I get those two confused. I get everything confused lately. Stock, like taking stock. Oh, it's Mozzie.
That's
Yeah, no, that was Mozzie. Mozzie, you having a conversation?
You're the one who's
Yeah, he's having a conversation.
Oh, hi, Mozzie.
Must be lunchtime.
Mozzie's like, are we talking about kitty cats?
Are we talking about lunch?
Lunch.
Someone say lunch. Someone say kitties.
So that was really good. That was.
Do you have a favorite? You said which? The artist one.
I do like the one where the guy in the museum is looking at the painting. Goodness, picking a favorite.
I know you can't.
It's really hard.
You really can't.
I've always liked the Rosie the Riveter where she's eating the sandwich and she's got like the bulky arms because she's been working hard
all day
like a man.
And it really, her with the bandana, with the denim shirt, I saw a kid come for Halloween dressed as Rosie the Riveter.
Oh, yeah.
Like last Halloween or the year before. And I instantly looked at this kid and I said, there he goes.
There goes Mom.
I said, that is a great costume.
Yeah.
Do you know who you are?
Yeah.
She automatically said, yes, I'm Rosie the Riveter.
Yay!
And I was so... please, she goes, yes, I'm right. And she did the fist thing.
Oh, nice.
Like, apparently, somebody showed her this.
Yeah.
This was like a 6-year-old or an 8-year-old. I was so bowled over by it.
Yeah.
I get a kick out of all the girls dressed as Wednesday Addams. And that's adorable.
That's cute,
But in a world of Wednesday Addams, which is wonderful, be a Rosie the Riveter.
Rosie the Riveter.
It's amazing, amazing stuff.
I love it. So do you have a favorite one?
Again, it's like hard to. I do love the teacher one because that one hits my livelihood. But there's one where it's like a soda fountain, and the little boy you could see is clearly running away because he has a stick and the bandana tied at the stick on the ground, and he's sitting there at the soda counter with a police officer.
Oh, yes, I know that one. Yep.
So the cop obviously sees the kid is running away and says, let's have a soda
and talk about
it. And why are you running away? Where are you going? You could see, I've invented a whole backstory, which is I think what we do when you see it. And he's like, son, things aren't that bad, and let me take you home. Let's have a soda. Yeah. Where do you think you could picture at the end of the day, the cop brings the kid back home, and the kid has a different perspective now.
Yeah.
Or like the one with the sunset. I have that, and I have it in a tchotchke. This young couple is just looking at the sunset on a bench with the dog, and young lovers, and they're just looking at the sunset. Young couple. You make up your own backstory. That's it.
I'm actually seeing one that I've never seen before in your book here that I actually like. It's a little boy, and he's looking at a stereoscope, the old-fashioned stereoscope, and he's got his dog, and his dog's kind of like resting his head on his elbow and looking up at him like, hey, what are you looking at? Can I see?
Yeah.
And it's just so freaking cute because I'm like, I've got a stereoscope at home, and sometimes I look at them and my dog, he's like, what are you doing?
See? It's all relatable, and it transcends time. It could be 100 years old, it could be last Tuesday.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter because it hits the American heart. And that's what a good visual storyteller or photographer do.
Yes.
It
hits a spot.
It hits you in a way that young, old, boy, girl, nobody, whatever, everybody gets it. Yeah. And I think that's what's always appealed to me and to everybody. Yeah, no such thing as a bad Rockwell.
No, it's true. I like it. Well, good choice.
Seriously, right?
Yeah.
And not only that, because of that, after all this time, you finally notice my Rockwell
I'm
tchotchkes.
just now noticing that.
Because you look at because there's so much to look at. Her house is a museum when people come to see him. Yeah, my house is a little whatever.
No,
I know. It is a little...
Well, it's easy. You know what? It's great because now I know what to get you for your birthday.
Yeah, get her a Rockwell or a snow globe. Yeah, I have my... Get her a cat. Get her a Rockwell. Get her a Rockwell cat, you know. Can't go wrong. I'm pretty basic.
Yeah. And we have to take a little road trip, you and me, and go see the Norman Rockwell Museum.
We should go. I haven't been there. I mean, I was there, but not in a while. We should take a ride and then go shopping.
Red Lion Inn.
I've never been there.
I love the Red Lion Inn.
Okay.
I love it.
Okay, I'm down. We'll call your friend. The See You Next Tuesday. The one that... Tell her we're going to be there.
We'll be there.
And she'll meet us. And, you know, we could have lunch with her. And your other friend who thinks she's a See You Next Day. And you should bring her along and not tell her that the witch will be there.
Actually, the friend that had warned me about this when we died. So.
Oh, I'm sorry. Then I guess she won't be... Wait, can we talk about her on our next podcast?
One of our favorites.
Oh, well, okay. I guess she won't be joining us for lunch.
No.
Go figure. All righty. Didn't know that. On that note...
All right. On that note, we thank you for listening.
Always. This is where you find us. Yeah. Tune in next time for another interesting and funny episode of... All my favorite people are dead. Bye, breathers.
Bye, dead.